and welcome to a feline episode of the Drywall Podcast. I am your host, once again, Nick Harmon. With us today, we have Tom Hawks of Tom A. Hawk Drywall out of Grand Junction, Colorado. Tom and I met a while back when he became interested in Fresco Harmony and was actually the catalyst for getting Fresco into Outwest Drywall Supply in Grand Junction and other locations in Colorado. He was also Drywall Artist of the Year in 2015. We talk a lot about that. We talk a lot about using Trim-Tex specialty corner beads, but we also get a little sidetracked talking about the habits of cats and also a little bit about different texturing styles.
Yeah, and we do a lot of smooth texture up here, so we do a lot of not big old tape tech knives, the big ones that are about 40 inches or so to wipe down our texture.
Wait, what do you mean smooth texture? That's an oxymoron. You either have smooth or you have texture.
Well, it's called Holy Smooth.
And I like that. You little cat faces.
So it's just little cat faces, Holy Smooth. It's just so, and then you got to go back and sand it. So you pretty much, I think the builders found a way to almost get smooth wall without having to pay for it.
We discussed the origins of Tomahawk Drywall and how he maybe got tangled up with the boss's daughter. We also talk a lot about Fresco Harmony, and we talk about the difference between fiber tape and mesh tape. Tom's a great guy, and I know you are going to like this one. Today's episode of the Drywall Podcast and all of the episodes of the Drywall Podcast in the month of August are brought to you by our good friends at SurPro Stilts. SurPro is the name in stilts. They've dominated the stilt space since 1996. They've also procured the stilts.com website, and they hold numerous utility patents. They're also committed to innovation, but what truly sets them apart is the minds behind the brand. Engineers who don't settle for good enough, inventors who envision a better way, and their drive to leave a lasting impact on each and every professional lucky enough to own a pair. They're a true champion of the industry. Be sure to check out stilts.com for more information on the X models, such as the X1 and X2 and the flexion foot systems. Also, be sure to check out our episodes 99 and 102 with SurPro expert Brandon Hunter. And stay tuned for a special ice bath giveaway happening soon. I promise. Keep tuned. Curious about being a guest on the Drywall Podcast? I would love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear your story. Also, you might get a sweet swag bucket out of the deal by our friends up at CSR in Toronto. Each guest of the Drywall Podcast gets a cool swag bucket with lots of cool drywall goodies inside. If you're interested, reach out to me directly at info@frescoharmony.com. But for now, Tom Hawks, Tom A. Hawk Drywall out of Grand Junction, Colorado on the 106th episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it.
Hello. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. Smooth as silk. I like that. Nice. You got the beard trimmed up. Looking good.
Yeah. Have to keep my wife happy.
Yeah. Yeah. We got Tom A. Hawks, Tomahawk Drywall out of Grand Junction, Colorado, correct?
Yes, sir.
I thought you were a little bit closer to Rifle, but maybe a little out of Grand Junction.
Rifle's about 45 minutes away.
Okay. I did some horse riding in Rifle, Colorado, in Meager. We went up there. My mom knew people there. We raised horses, and then I did hung out with a couple of ranchers up there, and we moved some longhorn cattle and stuff out of Rifle. It's pretty cool.
I'm originally from Craig, which is right by Meeker.
Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah.
my family owns a ranch on County Road 7.
Yeah. So you're sort of you grew up on a ranch
Yeah, in Craig. Yep.
in Craig. In Craig. Let me give a little background. I know Tom, fun fact, we sell Fresco Harmony in Grand Junction at the Outwest location there.
Yes.
Outwest's Drywall Supply has 4 locations: Montrose, Grand Junction, Glenwood Springs, and Eagle.
Yes.
And Tom was cool enough to go talk with Barry at the Grand Junction location. And Barry gave me a call and he was like, hey, Tom's, was telling us about this colored mud stuff. And we ended up signing sort of an exclusive deal with for the Western Slope for Out West. They handle all of Fresco Harmony for the Western Slope of the Rockies there in Colorado. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Seems to do pretty well at Valley. What we call it.
So thanks for that, man. Colorado's a cool state. It's a little different than other states as far as people that do work, maybe not so much in Grand Junction, but people that do drywall in Colorado travel a lot, always driving from here to there. So people go long distances to get to a location and they have their favorite locations. Montrose is doing well. That's a pretty good location because, like we were talking about, the proximity to Telluride,
Yep.
Crested Butte, that whole market. What sparked my idea to have you on the show was that we just had Doug McKenzie on, who is a drywall artist of the year, and you also are a drywall artist of the year with Trim-Tex. Let's talk a little bit about that to start off, and then we'll dive into the history. How did you get to be drywall artist of the year, and what year was it?
It was 2015. Actually, I didn't
Okay.
even submit it. He had a sales rep come down to Grand Junction because I was buying a lot of chamfer bead.
Okay.
And, and so he was trying to promote it. So his sales rep came down and went through some of my homes. And he asked me if he could take some pictures. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he called me up and he said, hey, do you mind me entering these into the Drywall Artist of the Year? I'm like, yeah, you already took the pictures. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Then I got a call later on and said I won.
Very cool. Was that Don by chance?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Really good guy. Really good guy. They have such a great staff at Trim-Tex. Just really great people.
Yeah, they loved it. Anybody that's confused or anything, they have a showroom area where they can teach you how to put on Trim-Tex
Yeah.
they'll answer your questions. They don't treat you like you're stupid or anything, and it's pretty
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Did you do the training? Did you go up there and do some training with those guys, or was it just more of like a tour?
I decided to go do some training because they had at that time they were doing that. They were pushing the crown molding
Okay.
where you put it over the top of the drywall
Yeah.
and I was like, and it had the rope lighting involved, and I wanted to kind of just promote that a little bit, just learn more about it. I knew how to do all the cuts. I just wanted to just go up there and check it out a little bit more. So I did a little bit of training just to check it out.
Yeah, you did a bunch of the step, didn't you?
I just did the crown molding up there, but down here, you know, I pushed a lot of been doing Magic Corner, one of their big products for a long, long time, which is awesome
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
and then small chamfer and baby bull and bullnose and square. I've been doing it for a long time because it actually it's callbacks are freaking minimal. It's like that's every company. You want hardly any callbacks, and the bullnose gets getting it on the face and always looks like crap. So
You,
Trim-Tex was good to go.
you like the chamfer.
Down here they like the chamfer because it's similar to the square contemporary look. So in Colorado, square and contemporary look is really popular right now. And so
Yeah. That
So it's
baby bull nose, though, that 350 bull nose, I've seen that down here a little bit with Westway Homes. That stuff I really like. I think it's really,
it's a great product.
yeah, it looks cool. It's like and if you're listening, it's like an undersized bull nose, just a really cool, subtle corner.
Yep.
But I finally got to do Fresco Harmony on a chamfer corner like I never had up in Surrey. And we did a fireplace and they finished it in chamfer. And I didn't know, I was like thinking that I would paint it and then just finish the fresco up to either side of the chamfer. But in the end, I ended up coating the chamfer and sanding down those edges, and it looked great.
Yeah, that's what you have to do, and it's the only hard part about that is not sanding down too much so you don't have the edges showing through.
Don't want
But
those edges showing. You could paint preliminary with
yep,
a match paint or a dark color or something prior to, like if you were doing Galtiero steel or something, a really dark color, you could paint it in like a fireplace, like black primer, and then
yep.
do it. That would work. I've
I,
found doing that on outside square corners works. Like if you're finishing with a light color and you have the metal corner bead, which you probably don't use, but if you have metal corner bead, you can spray paint it with a white primer.
okay. Yeah, I've done the reveal bead on the fireplaces to give it
Hmm.
kind of a breakup pattern. So I did a reveal bead with Fresco Harmony. And
Okay.
then I was thinking about doing the paint, but I'm like, Fresco Harmony is kind of a cool thing where it has that kind of Venetian plaster. So it doesn't, it's, if you, because I try to make all the fireplaces really smooth.
Okay.
And so it kind of gives it a different look to it. So I was thinking about spraying paint inside of the reveal bead, but I went ahead and did
Yeah.
Fresco Harmony inside of it and wiped it kind of tight. And then I did a sponge and sanding sponge and just barely sanded inside of the reveal bead to make it smoother. So that way
Yeah.
it'd have the same look as the rest of the fireplace. And I
Oh,
did
wow.
that up in Carbondale, which came out
Car-
really nice. And I've done it on some range hoods and kitchens. It looks pretty sweet.
Really, you finished the fresco into the reveal bead. That's
Yep,
challenging.
it is. It was really hard, but
How do you do it? How do you do like the bottom and the top and then do the back or something with
I was
like a 1 inch or a half-inch blade?
well. What I did is I pushed the mud in there, and then I
Okay.
took a little piece of wood that would fit inside of the slot, and just ran the piece of wood all the way around it to just smooth it
Okay.
out.
That's
So
cool.
that's what I ended up using. So it hit the top and the bottom and the back side of it. So you
Okay.
just got to square it out, and you just got to make sure it's really smooth and constantly clean off that piece, so you're just not, just making a mess inside. But it came out a couple times, couple swipes, and it turned out pretty nice.
Cool. I did, yeah, I match painted and then I use the caulk rod and then you just blow right over it with the mud. And when it's wet, you pull that caulk rod out and
Yep.
it actually cleans the edge as you pull the caulk rod out. Works
Yep.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
that's a great stuff to do too with that. Yeah, Fresco Harmony. I've been able to push it really good with fireplaces. I did a one fireplace where they wanted a concrete look, but they didn't. They were going to do concrete, but they didn't reinforce their floor properly. And so
okay.
she's all, "Hey, can we match similar concrete look?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem. We'll just pick one of the Fresco Harmony colors that's similar to concrete color that you wanted, and we'll make it
Yeah.
really smooth, and we'll just make it look like we did a concrete over your fireplace."
Did
And
you
she loved it.
did you put the sand in at all?
No, I didn't put any sand in it.
Okay. I mean, we're selling the silica sand now, but you can get bags of it. And that really takes it to like that micro cement look.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's like a really fine silica sand. I'll have to I'll have to send you some. And you
okay,
can even put a little bit, take like if you have a gray or JJ Ash or whatever, you can take a gallon container and take a little out and just mix a third of the container in and mix it up. And then you've got like a gallon of, JJ Ash sanded and you just
okay,
use it on the second coat. It's beautiful. It looks like it looks to, I mean, what I would consider to micro cement to look like. And the heavier the grain of sand, the more of that, grittiness you get. But it's smooth as when you go to seal it, it's smooth, just like regular fresco. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I love doing it. I'm trying to get into a whole house. I'm trying to push it on
Hmm.
remodels and stuff because I've done it on my house, testing it out and covering up orange peel. My house is
Yeah,
1930 something, so it's like,
gravy.
and it's my wife hates dust, and just like
Yeah,
everybody, it's like I'm a drywaller and I can't sand in my own house, so I'm like,
right.
I'm just going to do Fresco Harmony and smooth out these walls, and it
Yeah,
looks like a smooth wall,
yeah.
and it's like it's awesome to remodel in your own house and other people's. You don't create that dust if you do it right. It's just you have
Yeah.
to wipe it.
Yeah,
So
I mean, we do a little bit of sculpting, but yeah, I don't grind on the walls. I mean, they're not perfectly smooth, but you can pull that crap pretty smooth, man.
yep,
I actually like going over orange peel. I think that's a great substrate to go over. It like sits on there really nice.
yes, it is.
Okay, Tom A. Hawks. Now it's Tom A. Hawks with an S.
No,
Is your
without an S.
without
Just
an
a Tommy
S.
Hawk.
And that's your name though.
With the S on the end, yeah. Tom A.
Wh-
Hawks. I mean,
Tom
Hawks
A.
is
Yeah, that's your last name, Hawks.
Hawks. Yes.
But your business name is Tom A. Hawk with
Yep.
hyphens?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, somebody already took the tomahawk so I had to put hyphens in it.
Yeah, that makes sense because Tomahawk's cool. And so you grew up on a ranch in Craig near
Yep.
Meeker. That is fascinating. So what type of a ranch? Was it a cattle ranch?
It was a cattle ranch, and there's also wheats, and then of course alfalfa.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So why in the world drywall? Why did your dad want you to learn the family farm and take over all of that? I know that's probably pretty a regular path for people in that area. And if you don't know, if you're listening, it's a real sparse area. There's farming, there's cattle, beautiful rolling hills, gorgeous area, lots of widespread ranches and things like that where, small town atmosphere. Um, how come you didn't follow and just take over the ranch and do all that?
well, it's on my mom's side, and so
Okay.
my uncle took over the ranch, and then his kids ended up taking over.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I lived on the ranch next to my grandparents down at the bottom of the valley, and then my mom ended up moving away from the
Yeah.
ranch when I was 13, and
Okay.
then we ended up moving to Grand Junction. And
Okay.
so
You
about at 13, we moved up to Grand Junction away from Craig.
you became a city slicker.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Did your cousins make fun of you?
No, luckily.
Okay, so you were young when you moved to Grand Junction, and so you did your high school and all that in Grand Junction.
Yes, I did.
Did you
Yep.
wrestle in Grand Junction then? Did you wrestle in high school?
I did for a little bit, and then I got a lot of stuff torn in my back right shoulder in
Okay.
a tournament, and so that kind of ended my wrestling career. So
Uh,
it took a lot of rehab on my shoulder to get it to where I could use it really well again. So
okay. All right. So we're in Grand Junction. You did you graduate high school?
actually, no, I got my GED. I
That's
got
why I
into
ask. That's why I ask. Because with the drywallers, I just assume everybody graduates high school. And with drywallers, it's about 50-50.
Yeah, it is. I got into started doing drywall when I was 16 and started making some decent money, I thought at the
Oh,
time.
wow. Okay.
And
That's young.
yeah, so I was like, man, so I started pushing me full time and doing drywall. So I'm like, man, school, drywall. So I started doing drywall. It's kind of at that time, money is overpower school a little bit.
Of course. And yeah, of course, especially if you're on that trajectory, if school's not really your bag, you grew up on a ranch, you know how to work hard. And then that drywall stuff, man, it starts to appeal to you. You're 16 years old, so what year are we looking at? You look pretty young. How
I'm
old are,
I'll be 48 in September.
Oh, we're the same age. Excellent. Good.
So it
Well,
was,
we both look really young.
yep, we do. You look great.
Very cool. So 16, yeah, that's not 92.
Yep.
92 thereabouts. And yeah, the power of the dollar was good. See, I know how old you are, so I can reference my own, my own experience. I was playing a lot of soccer. So I did have a friend though whose parents were very strict. He had to work to buy his own car. So he would get odd jobs and things like that. But I was on the like sports trajectory, so I was lucky. My parents got me a car. He had to pay his own insurance, which I thought was ludicrous, but he did. He worked and went to school. He became emancipated like in the in like his junior year. So he would like sign himself out of school all the time. I would skip. He would sign himself out. We go smoke weed or whatever, do nothing.
Yep.
Very cool. So you jump on, I guess that would be summer, or did you quit? You must have made it through your sophomore year of high school. And then
I just started about my sophomore before I went, yeah.
Okay. And sorry, my cat is bugging me.
Oh, you're fine.
Because the screen door is closed. He has a cat door. That's what's going on here.
The cat door.
Well, I have a Labradane. She's laying in here. She's kind of big. And then this door is really small. And so I have a Labradane dog and I have a cat. And so the only one that uses the cat door is the cat. So it's a cat door. He's pretty cool though, but he is like, and he's a talker. He's really loud, but I was like, what the fuck, dude? Why are you? He kept meowing. But if the screen, we have like a security screen, if that's closed, then if he doesn't have access, he's like beside himself. So he goes in and out and shit, I mean, I grew up on a farm too. It's like, I think I talked about it once before. I think Kevin Bush, on the Kevin Bush episode, we talked about dogs and like you have a different opinion of dogs. It's like I love dogs and stuff, but I think you have a different opinion of dogs when you grow up on a farm with a dog.
Yep.
They're just there. They're not like, it's not like I take her for walks and stuff now. I mean, but it's like I feel like people that grow up on a farm have a different relationship with dogs.
And cats too, because we always had barn cats.
Yeah, they're just cats that hang around. I mean, he sleeps with me and stuff. But I have no problem like letting him go roam the neighborhood. Like I don't give a shit. You're on your own, I'll feed you, and that's about it. Good luck. And nowadays it's like I go into like PetSmart and I'm looking at like the poor cats that are in the cages in there, and I'm like, if you let your cat out, like if you go into a pet store and you see the pets in these cages, but if you're a person that lets a cat in and out, they won't sell you the fucking cat.
Really?
Like because
house cat.
It has to be inside. And I'm just like, okay. Because I mean, in my opinion, cats they can't be in. They have to go.
They got to go kill a bird or bring you a gift of a snake back or something.
Yeah, cats like house cats are neurotic. I feel like and they're always like by the window. Like they want out all the time.
They're from prison.
Yeah, we digress. Yeah, the world of cats. We could save the world of cats for the second episode, which. Leads me to a question, Tom. Have you listened to the Drywall Podcast at all?
No, I haven't had time.
Okay.
I need to. I've seen you come up on it, and I've heard little sections of it.
Okay, you're on Instagram, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so are you heavy on Instagram or are you primarily Facebook?
I do both. My company is on Instagram. I have a little bit on Facebook, but mostly anything I post or anything, it seems to be easier on Instagram than Facebook.
Yeah.
So I just post everything mostly on Instagram.
Cool. So you're 16. How in the world did you get into the drywall trade? I mean, that seems unlikely for a farm boy from Craig in Grand Junction.
Well, my brother-in-law was doing drywall actually, and his uncle did drywall for a long time, and I was at my sister's house, and he came home back in those days. You got paid in cash, and on our table, and he like whips out this wad of cash. Yep, in
Fanning it
front of my
out.
sister. I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, I want that. I'm like, are you guys going to hire anything? He's all, no, I'm not going to hire you. So I push him and push him and push him. He's all, fine, we'll hire you. So all I did forever was mixing mud and spotting screws.
Oh, cool. They treated you like a true cub,
Yes.
like a little bitch.
Yep. I had to mix all their mud, all their screws, scrape the floors.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Yeah. I feel like it builds a little bit of character. It's kind of dickish. I mean, if I was running a crew, I would, get them into like doing stuff more quickly. This is I've never really trained somebody up like that, but I feel like that's a good way to start because you do all the shit work for like a period of time to see if you can hack it, man. Because some days suck, right?
Yep. And I had to clean
Yeah.
all the freaking tools. So even in wintertime, it's like, oh man, you get to clean all the tools. So you got to go
Yeah.
outside and freeze while you're spraying off the bazooka and everything.
Yeah.
And boxes.
But I felt like that was a really good introduction to the tools too, because you learn how to pull them apart. You
Yep.
know what I mean? You're naturally learning about the tool, and you learn how the bazooka, how the thing, because you don't want to break the cable, and you filling it with water and filling it with mud. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think that's a great way to learn to get a preliminary education with the tools is to clean them.
No, it does. It teaches you a lot. And they taught me how to adjust the boxes or replace the blades on the boxes. Every other house, change out that blade so you're not,
Yeah.
so it comes out the way you want to, how you have your box set up. So
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
What tools were those guys running? That was 92. That was early. Yeah, I didn't start till like 99, but the tools were still prevalent even back then. What
it
were
was
they
Premier
running?
is what we mostly,
Premier.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is Blue Line now. So it's pretty much all blue Premier boxes, and which are heavy back in the day. It's just all the tool Premier boxes and tubes are heavy, or
Yeah,
I was just young maybe.
Yeah, they seemed heavier.
Yep.
You were probably 50 pounds lighter. Which tools are you using today?
I like Tape Tech as my favorite brand for the tube. I've been, and the Fat Boy boxes. Love the Fat Boy boxes. So
Yeah.
Columbia.
Okay.
I like the Columbia boxes.
All right. Yeah.
Then we do a lot of smooth texture up here. So we do a lot of not big old Tape Tech knives, the big ones that are about 40 inches or so to wipe down our texture.
Wait, what do you mean smooth texture? That's an oxymoron. You either have
So-
smooth or you have texture.
Well, it's called Holy Smooth.
Oh, I like
so-
that. You little
so,
cat
but it's
faces.
just- Yeah, so it's just little cat faces, Holy Smooth. It's just so, and then you got to go back and sand it. So you pretty much, I think the builders found a way to almost get smooth wall without having to pay for it.
Yeah, well, in Crested Butte, we would do what was called Santa Fe. I don't know if you call it that. Do you guys do that one with the pool trowel or
Yep, yeah.
where you leave the lightning bolts?
I call it Spanish lace.
Oh, I
Personally.
like that.
So that's what I started doing hand texture a long time ago, and I was doing Santa Fe style homes, and they wanted more of a heavier texture, and so I was using Hawk and Trowel and so I'd be leaving the lace pattern, and then I'd go back and let it set up and use a big knockdown knife and knock it down so it leaves the lace pattern back behind. And so it's still a smooth surface, but it has that definition of what you would call lightning bolts. But I always called it Spanish lace is what I would
I
call
like
it.
that. I like that. Yeah, because it kind of has a lacy thing. I didn't use a Hawk and Trowel until we started doing that texture in Crested Butte. So that's definitely a Colorado thing. And I agree. I thought it was not to overuse. we got a whole cat theme going on here, but I thought it was brilliant, the cat face texture, because the cat face was similar. You just do the Santa Fe texture, you just leave skips, And some of them would look like little cat faces.
Yep, they do.
These little openings. You'd have like different direction cat faces. Where you go in there and like draw with a pencil, you draw in like the rest of the cat face. At least I did. I don't know. I was rebellious, but I always thought that was a brilliant texture because you didn't have to finish the drywall so damn perfectly for like smooth finish or even orange peel. I mean, knockdown, you have to really, finish those butts and bands and angles perfectly. We would only just tape the angles because you're pulling a full coat of mud out of the angle. We would only just tape them. We wouldn't coat them. I don't know if you guys did that as well.
I do, unless the Holy Smooth is too thin. But if it's a little thicker, then you can do that. I just always go around and start my angles first in the corners.
Okay.
And then I go through, like you said, you just stripe them if you need to. Make sure you got a good angle head when you're rolling and glazing. And they usually come out pretty nice, and then go through and you can stripe your corners if you need a little bit. And then you start pulling the texture, and it helps out quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it comes out nice.
Yeah, you can't like finish too much, I don't think. Even with Fresco, it's you can get away with one coat, but I tell people 2 coats, like at least 2 coats, no sand, just to polish it out. 2 coats on the screws. You can get away with 1 coat, but like you kind of want to do definitely 2 coats on the corner bead because you get the shrinkage. You can get away with 1 coat in Fresco. You can. I've done it. More is always better with drywall. Somebody there?
Yeah, my granddaughter came downstairs. She's supposed to be upstairs with my daughter.
Nice. How old is she?
She's 5.
Granddaughter?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
My oldest son is 28.
Okay. All right. So you started pretty young. What's her name?
Maeve.
Maeve. Shout out to Maeve. And
hello.
Oh my goodness. Hi, Maeve. Wait. Where'd you get that sweet crown?
Can you tell them? Where do you get the crown? Do you know? Grandma Anna.
From Nana? Grandma Anna?
Nana.
Nana, I heard her.
Her mom lives in Mississippi.
Nice. Well, I love it. And it's not every day we get a princess on the show, so sweet. Shout out to Maeve, M-A, how do you spell that?
Maeve.
Love it. I love the kid. I have a 8-year-old, so I started very late. But it's different. I super enjoy, you're older and it's a whole different approach to you. I'm more patient. I can't imagine having a kid in my 20s, like that would have just been a different experience, which you obviously did. When did you have your son?
I was 19.
19. So you were young. You were married, I guess. Yeah. Or were you, you guys were just living in?
We'll be married 29 years this month.
Still with the same woman. Fantastic.
Yep.
And what's her name?
Kelly.
29?
Yep.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's really great. And then you have a 28-year-old. What's the boy's name?
Trian.
Trian.
Kind of a different name. Trian.
Okay. Trian. And just one boy, or how many kiddos?
No, we have 4 kids.
Oh my goodness.
2 girls.
2 boys, 2 girls. How many grandkids?
Just 1 so far.
Just 1. This angel.
Yep.
Maeve, you can hang out as long as you want, Maeve. I just have to watch my language when you come. I got to watch the cussing when you come around. I talk like a trucker on here.
Oh, that's fine. She's used to it. Drywallers don't talk very well either.
Yeah. Around here, you got to put money in the jar. My kid's like, he's like on top of it. He's like, dollar in the jar, $5. The F word's like, I get in big trouble over that one. But very cool. So you are an apprentice. You're 16 years old. What is the name of the company and this was your cousin's company. Did they own the company or they worked for a larger company?
Well, it was my brother-in-law.
Okay,
But
brother-in-law.
yeah, they didn't have like a legit company. You know, you have I call them the fly-by-night crews.
That's weird. I've never heard of that in the drywall industry. Somebody
So,
just
so like
doing
it's,
it, not really paying taxes, coming home with a
yep,
fanning out the cash.
yep, just bouncing around from contractor to contractor, kind of like a
Yeah,
drywall board. You know, not
nice.
loyal to anybody.
And how many people? You had your bro-in-law. Who else?
And then it was his uncle that worked with us.
Okay.
And then they were getting ready to lay me off, and then they were starting doing an apartment complex because they didn't have any
Okay.
more work for me.
Okay.
And they were working for a guy at that time, and they were telling him about me.
Yeah, because
And
it was costing them money to have you on, dude, and train
yeah,
you up.
apparently I wasn't mixing mud and spotting screws good enough.
No, that's why it's like, dude, just train me on the box, man. Let me do this shit. I can do it.
Yep.
Funny.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. But that's how I met my future father-in-law, is the second job.
Okay. And what was he working for a company or did he own that company?
He owned the company and he did a lot
Beautiful.
of
Go straight for his daughter.
yep.
That's how you stay employed. Oh my goodness. So this was Kelly's dad. And what was the name of the company?
Wilkinson Drywall.
Okay. And that was out of Grand Junction.
Yep.
Okay. And so the bro-in-law, those dudes went to work for Wilkinson too, or they pawned you off?
They went through work for Wilkinson, and then I worked with Mark for a long time, and then I kept on getting, I was kind of his little bitch too, so I was mixing mud and at that time it was orange peel, so we were mixing mud and having to haul it up the stairs,
And
using
you're
a hopper.
Yeah, are you still 16 or had you been in like maybe a year or so by that
I was
point?
in for a year at that point, so I was
Okay, so
17.
yeah, you are still a bitch at that point. Like, come on,
Yep.
let's get
Yep.
real.
So that's what they were doing. They were like, "Man, you got to mix mud and haul it up 3 flights of stairs." I'm like, "Oh man."
You thought you were gonna get your big break.
Yep.
Very cool. How long were you with Wilkinson before they started to sort of show you some stuff? Okay, he's been on with a year, whatever. Well, let's start nurturing this student to become more effective.
Probably little after 17, he teamed me up with two other guys that were close to my age and started teaching
Okay.
us how to hang drywall. And
Oh, nice.
we started hanging drywall, and then we would turn around and start finishing it.
Okay.
So that was kind of nice. And then he started making one guy run the tube, and another guy start boxing, and then another guy starting trim.
Smart. That was
And
smart.
so and
So
so I
then you
was
guys could all learn and then you could train each other.
yep. And I was the one that was mostly putting on the metal and you know and coating it at the time. But we would
Okay.
all tape together, so and then split off.
Okay.
So it was
Cool.
nice. And
Very
then
cool.
he started kind of switching us and letting us use the tool. Then I started getting taught how to use the tools after I was getting really good with the coating metal and everything. So
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. And how long were you with, and what tools was that company using?
it was still Premiere.
Still Premiere. Okay. Premiere. I remember in Crested Butte, one of the dudes ran Premiere too. So that must be also sort of a Colorado thing. It's interesting how these tools and techniques are regional,
Yes.
and if you're listening to it, it's important, I think, to if you get a chance to, or if you have the opportunity to move around, because they all, it's all smooth finish up in Canada. It's all smooth finish on the East Coast. They do a lot of spray texture down here, California, even in Colorado. To have that experience, and a lot of people poo-poo on texture, but that's a whole art form, and matching texture, and it gets into doing patching.
Yep.
I never got to hang a whole lot. My boss in Crested Butte taught me a little bit about hanging, but I think getting that knowledge of hanging is so important, and putting up corner bead, it's just so important. You're with Wilkinson, you're rounding out your education. How long are you with Wilkinson for?
probably about 2021.
Mark. And during that time, you absconded with his daughter,
Yep.
and he was gonna kill you.
Probably, yeah. He was really irritated. He was
Was
younger than me.
he? She's coming
Yes.
around the job site, prancing around all the workers. Tom's like, I don't care. I don't care if she is the boss's daughter. I'm going for it.
Yep. Yeah, and then, yeah, she's, yeah, it was an interesting time.
Yeah. Well, obviously it worked out. I'm sure that you and Mark get along very well now. You seem like a pretty decent guy. He probably couldn't have been luckier, truth be known. So you're hooked up with her, with Kelly. You still continue on with Wilkinson until you're around 21. What do you do at that point in time?
I started, venturing out. I ended up started doing some parade homes. I ended up working with a guy named Alan. I don't remember his last name anymore, but I started doing a lot of finishing and texturing for him. And he was out of Montrose. And so I started doing a parade home in one subdivision. I did another parade home in a upper end subdivision by myself. And I ended up winning, those houses ended up winning, you know, best builder of the year and all the everything in there. And then the hand texture on my end started taking off, and I just ended up teaming up with another company called Preferred Drywall.
Were you by yourself at that point, or you were just sort of farming your talents out to individuals that needed you?
I was getting my feet wet, so I was doing both.
Okay. And you're sort of learning at this point, you're probably learning more about square footage pricing. Are you getting like piece rate for some of this stuff?
Yeah, just square footage is the way they kind of did it more back in the day. Now everybody just pays by the sheet. But it's square footage, it's you're lucky at finishing back then is when it started doing really well was 16 cents a square is what you're getting paid.
Yeah.
So it was, but that was, at that time it felt like a whole bunch, even though it was $7 a sheet.
I mean, Arizona was worse than Colorado. When I went up to Colorado, I was making 22 an hour, so that was a lot of money. Yeah, it wasn't bad, but I mean, our boss was smart. Like he paid well, and he kept like this crew, and we'd finish like, custom homes in Crested Butte, like one after another. It was a good way to do it. But he was smart enough to like know to pay well. If you have good people that are making you money, pay them, Yeah, we've had 100. You're number 106.
Holy cow.
Yeah, we've had Joe Koenig. We've had Wolfgang with Can-Am Tools. I interviewed Bernie, the guy that founded Columbia Tools, and his two sons who run Columbia Tools, Aaron and Elliot. They have a 2-part episode. A lot of good episodes, man.
That's a lot. And were you doing podcasts before you?
No. Well, I listen to podcasts sometimes, and I was like, well, there isn't a real good drywall podcast, and I felt like it was something that I could do. Is that a specialty? Is that chamfer?
Nope. No, that's not chamfer in this house. My wife doesn't like chamfer.
She doesn't like it. You know what? I'm not a huge fan either. The small bowl, I loved the step bowl. That was my favorite. Like, I was so sad that they got rid of it.
I did that on a house, and it turned out I did it on all the windows and everything. I thought it was pretty badass after it was painted.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
It was so hard to fill for some reason.
I know. That detail in a home is so cool. And maybe it's just that, with Fresco Harmony, like I'm a visionary when it comes to walls. I feel like texture is boring. Orange peel is boring. Like and drywall is boring for that matter. Like, not to put down the trade or anything. We all love mud. We all love doing it, but it's boring. Like
it is.
Those jobs are cool.
Around the house in circles.
Yeah, you don't have to figure anything out. Like with the step bowl, it's like you have to figure stuff out. You have to learn, you're forced to, even with Fresco Harmony. Like I'm always learning about the color. It's another level of drywall and working with the mud that, creates this like world of challenge. When you're going to do something different or do an accent wall or a fireplace, you got to think about like that reveal, how you're going to finish it, that kind of stuff. So
I seen that like there's a guy that's going to be doing the marble technique to it.
yeah, I did an episode of the Drywall Podcast with that guy, and it's the funniest episode. John Hine,
Yep.
he gets in two car accidents. He's got the guy, and it's in the interview, but he gets hit by cars twice on his bicycle.
Holy cow.
He's up in Salem, Oregon. And so everybody that comes onto the Drywall Podcast gets a swag bucket. So the swag bucket comes with a color pack. But I think I sent John a color pack just anyways, just like here, give it a try. And out of the gate, he was making these beautiful Venetian plaster looking samples. And I was like, first of all, how did you even learn how to do that? And secondly, what are you doing with the mud that you're getting it? It looks like Venetian plaster. He's like burnishing it and he's doing multiple coats of the sealer and he's putting in like gold like veins. And I'm like, and that is the cool part about Fresco. Like after you color the mud, I have suggestions for how to do it, but you can do whatever you want. It opens up an entire world of possibility. So then he gave away that bathroom. He's giving it away to like a client. He's like, oh, just do it for you, and which is really smart because now she's going to tell her friends. And I think that's a smart way to market when you're first doing it, to give a little bit away and then, start marketing it that way. But
no, I agree. It's pretty cool.
His episode is pretty funny. And he also talks about being chased by a bear too. So like, I'll share the link. I'll share the link with you, but he's a character. And then like, he has to charge his phone, but he's on the job site. And he walks from the job site to his house. And I'm like, why weren't you just doing the interview? So it's filled with twists and turns and a lot of comedy, but as a lot of these interviews are. Wilkinson Drywall, you finish up with Mark, and now you're starting to farm yourself out to maybe more better builders with these parade of homes, and you're getting noticed because your work is obviously really good. You're around 21 maybe. Let's get to where you start having the idea that maybe you could start your own business.
It's just people were asking me and I didn't want to have it at first, and it's just the headache, but people kept on asking me to do their homes, and I'm like, yeah. Then I started, I just started being pushed that way, and it's
okay.
And it just started escalating, word of mouth, just
yeah.
Advertising, you can't advertise back then like you can now. I mean, the technology wasn't there as well, so it's just started pushing it, and I just focused on custom homes, and I didn't really do track homes at all for a long. Actually, when you do custom homes, it's kind of hard to do track homes.
Well, two questions. Why were you reluctant to start your own business? And why would you just go for the custom homes?
I love doing custom homes just because of the skill level set. And so you're just, they're not boring. It's cookie cutters. You have to really think about what you're doing, and it's just more of an art. It feels like it's more of an artistic thing you can get into the customs. The people have more money, so they're more willing to like adventure into more ideas, and so that just lets you expand.
When you're selling like a chamfer or a 350 bead, are you showing that to the builder? Are you like, hey man, did you know you can do these specialty beads? At this point they probably know you do all that, but because they don't do it around here. One builder I've seen use the 350 bullnose. I don't see chamfer ever.
And that's the thing is a lot of builders, even around here, sometimes it's like, I didn't know I had options. It's like, what do you mean you didn't know you had options? It's like, well, doesn't it cost more for the other bead? I'm like, actually, no, it doesn't. It's like, we just hang the same way. Right. And you can put the bead on. It's like the only bead that you have to pay extra for is the 1.5 inches. and that's you have to hang back the sheetrock for the inch and a half.
Okay, yeah.
And that so it's like that's the one you got to charge extra for because you can't just slam the sheets and not think about it. So it's like, so I'm like, the option is this: you want a different home. The bead's costing me exactly the same amount of money. I have to use the exact same amount of mud. And it's like, once you learn how to cut, without the saw, and you can learn how to cut chamfer by hand and inscribe it, it goes up just as fast as the other bead when you get used to it. And the builders have options. So you want to outdo your competitors, say, hey, I can do chamfer, I can do square bead, and I can do all this stuff at the same cost as you're just doing square bead. But I can give you these 4 other options for the same cost. It's not costing me any more money.
Right.
And nobody else is offering that.
That's kind of the approach with Fresco Harmony as far as sales. It's like you're going to deliver something that your competitors aren't. You want a Venetian plaster finish for a little more than paint and texture. Just considering what they're paying for paint and texture, to become a consideration. It's interesting.
Yeah, and it's really cool. I talked to you about this, was it last week? I'm gonna do Grand Junction is not a good area for plaster, like the actual plaster. I mean, it's hot here, and we have really bad ground movement.
Okay.
And plaster, yeah. And so I'm doing a house in an area called Redlands here, and it was done with plaster, but I'm gonna fix it. And they were really worried about painting it. And I'm like, Fresco Harmony has a lot of different colors. I'm like, so why don't I just kind of blend it? Plaster isn't a solid color because of the way it dyes mix. Right. And I can kind of blend that if I do it right with Fresco Harmony to where it should look pretty similar to the plaster color that I want to do.
Totally.
And so we're going to be starting that project next week using Fresco Harmony for all the cracks and patches in the house to blend it in.
Now, and I've gone over plaster with just fiber tape. I find the regular old crappy fiber tape that works for nothing, it actually works really well for plaster. And you can do like a preliminary coat it, and then go right over that with your Fresco system. I've gone over plaster walls with a similar color to the plaster, 1 coat and sealer. I'm just throwing that out there. It's very efficient. You're doing, because you still get the modeling, even with 1 tight, like second coat, no base coat, because it's flat, it's smooth. Yep. If your color is close to the plaster, you can just do 1 coat. And how efficient is that? They still retain that plaster finish look, which they don't want to lose, and you're fixing all the cracks at the same time.
So that's a great product for that.
Yeah, I just bid one here. I must have been a little heavy. It was kind of a drive. They had a lot of issues. It was really challenging too, because also with the plaster, you get all the bulbous, weird corners and stuff. I bid it at $550. I felt like that was a good price. They didn't go for it, but I still think that was a good price. It was like 10 grand for, a bunch of really hard, all the window returns.
Oh yeah, that is a lot.
Coved vigas in the kitchen. It's like, I can't do this for free. I'm sorry. I felt like it was a very good price, but as they say, if you're not getting no's, your prices are too low. So.
Yep, I agree. Man. I call it the wheel of money that gets lost. So it's like you get all this work and that money just constantly comes in, but you think you're making a lot of money until that wheel stops. And then you realize you're not making all the money you thought you were because you got all these jobs and you thought you were winning all this stuff, but it puts you under.
Yeah.
You got to price yourself right.
Yeah. So the last episode, Doug McKenzie, he is starting a company called Drywall CEO Academy, where he's actually doing business coaching for drywallers. Kind of a cool concept, and probably something that we need because we never had business, myself included. I never had any business education. And he actually has formulas. He built really successful businesses doing commercial, multi-million dollar, ran crews, like all that stuff. And now he's created systems that he's giving back. And I think it's really smart for exactly what we're talking about as drywallers. If we're not like your brother-in-law just bringing home wads of cash,
Yep.
with our our buddy, doing houses that way under the table, we're probably not running our business to its full potential. And builders see that, they take advantage of us, and hence the need maybe for a curriculum or a guideline that drywallers can use to create more profit margin.
I think that's smart. My son's in HVAC, my oldest,
Okay.
and they're using the same system to teach his boss how to go out and promote the business, what to charge for the business.
Yes.
And then there's a painter here. There's a painting. Some people, they're already doing that in the painting business. We can't let the painter get ahead of us. So we need to catch up. So that's awesome that he already did that.
What's a painter?
Yeah, we don't need it with Fresco Harmony. You get rid of that painters. That's what I've actually told some builders that too, and stuff. It's like I can do everything all that. When I'm done, I'm done. I might have to do a little bit of touch up.
That conversation comes up. There's still a need for the painter, though. You got the trim. You have what I'm proposing is not the entire house, because there's no need to finish the garage in Fresco Harmony. No. You can certainly, but you would just run your base coat texture, just like the base coat of Fresco Harmony. You run your base coat texture on the garage, and then pantry, all your closets, regular texture. And the closets are strategic because those would get sprayed out after they put in the hardware and the shelving.
That's true.
So, and then another company here that's done several whole houses, Elite Drywall, for custom home builders, they waited on this last one to seal 2 days before CO, which I was like, well, that's really smart. I've thought about that before, but the sealer's no big deal, man. You can go in, you don't even need a mask, and you could have a couple guys cruise through the house. All your patchwork is done, all the holes have been made, and you go through and just seal the house in 2 days before your certificate of occupancy. And I was like, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, that is.
Fresco Harmony is a different way of looking at finishing houses. But there's a learning curve. Nobody's done it, man. And I'm always like, just like with the step bowl, it's like, why? It looks cool. Why wouldn't you?
And the remodel parts, I think that's what I've been trying to push it really hard too, is on the remodels. I think it's a product, like I was saying, without the sanding. I mean, you got to dust it on your first coat a little bit, but it's not. It's not much. It's not leaving as much dust as normal mud. You don't have to grind it. Just wipe it what you need to, depending on what texture you're giving.
Very cool. So you've been running Tom A. Hawk Drywall for quite a while now. How many years have you been in business?
I made myself an LLC in 99.
Okay. Long time. And then you won Drywall Artist of the Year in 2015. That's really cool. And you're still doing it. And like you were talking about driving from Grand Junction to Montrose, that's like we were talking in the beginning about having to drive long distances in Colorado. That's a ways. That's an hour one direction, right?
Yeah, it's close to an hour, 45 minutes, depending on your foot.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they tend to cruise in Colorado. They cruise here in Albuquerque too, but yeah, people drive like idiots. I think pretty much everywhere now. Yeah. But in Colorado, yeah, I noticed, and it's just loaded with people now. So like Denver's a nightmare. It just seems like everywhere in Colorado is just saturated with people.
Denver's really hard to drive in. It's Denver and Utah.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And there, I know Out West was considering maybe starting a location in Moab.
So that'd be smart. Moab is booming. Moab's only an hour and a half from Grand Junction. And they do a lot of work in Moab. Right. They're always there with their trucks. So it'd be smart for them to go there and start hitting that part of the slope. But I mean, that part.
Yeah, that part of Utah. What does the future hold for Tomahawk? You going to keep doing this? Are you branching out? Do you have investment properties, anything like that? You just
Well, I do have some investment properties.
okay,
I
good.
am pushing that because I do not want to do drywall until I'm 80 years old. And,
Yeah,
it's like, the trade has treated me well. And I think
yeah,
that and I would love to see younger people getting into it. I mean, it is a rewarding career if you think of it as constantly evolving. I've changed things. I'm always looking for new things. That's why I got into Trim-Tex before nobody else in my area did. I'm always searching the web looking for new things. You started following me. I started getting interested in Fresco Harmony. So I started researching that. And then,
yeah.
so I to get some young people in here would be awesome. And then, as retirement comes, just getting more retirement. I mean, more houses to bring in some income so I don't
Yeah.
have to do drywall for the rest of my life, even though it's done really good for my family. So,
Sure. Do you have employees?
no employees there. I run a lot of guys that's been with me for a long time through um, it's called a professional business solutions, but
Okay.
it's a payroll service.
Okay.
And so I just pay them, and those guys have been with me probably a good 15 plus years, actually. And then my other guys are subcontractors like everybody else and can't get them to switch. I tried to get them through there, but yeah, everybody else has been subcontractors to me.
What do you mean the difference between the pro solutions and the subcontractor? You're trying to get the subcontractors to go through pro solutions? And
Yeah, I'm trying
and
to get them.
why? What's the benefit?
It's more control in the sense of, a lot of the guys that's been working for me as subcontractors have been working for me for a long time, but for the law code, they have to work for somebody else for a certain period of time. And so
Okay.
you train them and you teach them what your company wants, and then they go work for um, Joe Blow over here, and then the stuff that you were leading on gets kind of taught to this other drywall contractor, and then your competition gets taught a lot of what you're already doing as a company because your guys have to go work for somebody else for a certain
Yeah.
period of time to be legal of working for you. So it's just it kind of is you could and that kind of sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And it is competitive in Colorado. You have less people. You're sparse, so you're driving to different places. And I mean, even the retailers, drywall retailers are real competitive in Colorado.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Grand Junction, we have about 100,000 people here, and there's only two drywall suppliers.
So we have two locations actually that sell Fresco Harmony in Montrose, Colorado. And aptly enough, we are selling a ton out of Montrose, Colorado. So
That's awesome.
it's very cool. We've got John Galtier over there doing it, and Nick Boyd, owner of the Drywall Supply Yard in Montrose, he's building out these units, these apartment units, and he's doing them all in Fresco Harmony, which is really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been buying a bunch lately. It's been cool. Um, is there a system or technique that you've adapted recently that you thought was stupid or you thought would never work, but you changed directions and you started using this technique, and it blew you away and you can't think of doing it any differently?
Not really. I mean, the biggest thing my company has changed to is we do fiber fuse on all of our flats. Got rid of perfect tape,
That's a good
and we've
one.
been doing that for years now, and it's eliminated blisters in the tape, and it's easier to finish. We even use it on patches. It works great on patches.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still use
Wh-
perfect tape in the corners because it does tear easy in
yeah.
the corners.
Yeah.
Um, and the other big thing that we do
Do you
that I
run it
put
through
here,
do you run it through the bazooka?
oh yeah, but
Five.
there's a trick to it so it doesn't make you itchy. And everybody's like, "Oh, it makes you itchy." I'm like, "There's actually what I taught my guys to do is just barely dip the fiber fuse in the water, the top part, and
Ah.
that leaves the fiber where it doesn't get into all your hands and your arms and all over you. So it doesn't mess it up. It still adheres well to the wall.
Okay.
And so, but fiber fuse is awesome stuff to use, and it's
Yeah.
we've been using it for a long time now.
What about gloves? Do you wear gloves when you run the bazooka? Because
Some of my
I
guys
imagine
do.
it cuts into your hand when you're running it through the bazooka. But I was always a glove guy. I like wearing the packing gloves.
I like my wife. I like my hands really rough, so my wife complains about how rough they are, so I don't wear gloves.
There you go.
So,
But she
but
likes the back. She likes the back rubs with those rough hands.
yeah,
Maybe
it
I
gets
don't
rid of
know.
all the dead skin and everything.
um, Very cool. Fibofuse. I don't know if you tried this, but it works tremendously well for patching the fresco. But you can actually tear the edge and fray it and get
Yep.
even better. Do you do that?
Yeah, I've done that with Fibofuse, and I always thought that a long time ago with Perfect Tape.
Okay.
And so the Perfect Tape. So when you're doing
I've never done it with perf tape.
yeah,
But
you
just
just kind of tear the sides and to where it layers, so it's not a
yeah,
solid line when you're
yeah.
doing a crack on the lid, and it really helps out with the definition of the tape a little bit.
Now, I've tried the Fibofuse with plaster cracks, and for some reason, you have to, like, if you lay out a bunch of mud and then go lay your Fibofuse out, it'll peel off. It's weird. It doesn't work as well as regular fiber tape for plaster only. Just that's just been my experience. Plaster's a unique animal, and for whatever, and especially going around corners, that Fibofuse peels off, and
Yeah,
I
it
don't know
does.
what I don't know why.
It
It's
just
like
there
the
is
mud
some
locks.
downfalls to it on that end, but it does.
Yeah.
Besides that, though, it works great. But
Besides
the
that, it
mesh
works
tape
great.
with hot mud, which is similar to the plaster with the lime. So it's like getting. I don't know if you use hot mud when you're using the mesh, but for the plaster, that's what.
You're supposed to.
Yes.
I have gotten away with on plaster using all purpose with the mesh.
Okay.
Haven't have I've got a job 20 years old, didn't crack out. You
That's
know,
awesome.
I've also one of the houses that we did, they used mesh tape with all purpose on the portal, the porch ceilings, all cracked out, fixed it, cracked out again. And I was like, never again with the mesh tape. So I've had both experiences, but in the plaster situation where I'm fixing cracks and plaster, I recommend the mesh tape.
Yeah, and I think it's a great product to use. And the other thing that I do is expansion joints. And so Trim-Tex had when I was up there and I walked through after winning stuff, I talked to them about the hideaway expansion joints and then also the reveal bead. I brought up, I'm like, well, can I do decorative reveal bead where the house is going to crack out the most? And they're like, well, we don't really build it for that, but they did it on a test thing for me. And they're like, yeah, with Hills, it does really well, just like the expansion joints. And so now my company, if we have like
Smart.
on soffits, they like to crack a lot, even if
What's
you span past it.
what's the difference
But
between expansion joint and reveal bead, real quick?
well, the reveal bead is a decorative reveal bead, so it's a square design look that sets up inside of your drywall.
Yep.
And so it's just a decorative look that you put in. The expansion joint is a rubber flange that's in the center.
Okay.
And so that rubber flange is made to push together and also pull apart.
Okay.
And so you don't put any mud in there. But it's so a lot of people get confused when they actually see the paint peeling out, but it's actually just paint. It's not mud. So that's my big sell point too. It's like, well, we don't have to remud it if we put the expansion joint in. And so you can come in here and just, touch it up with paint and you don't have the drywall mud issue all over your house. So that's why I push the expansion joint. I do expansion joints in the garages.
Okay.
Because garages always crack. So we always do expansion joints in the garages. And we eliminate the cracks.
Okay. And if you're listening and you don't know, you Canadians probably know the freezing under the ground. So you have tremendous ground movement in Colorado because of the ground freezing. You get moisture in the ground, it freezes, and then come spring, it thaws out, and you get much more movement. We would always use fiber tape on the corner bead. We had Big Dave would do all the corner bead, metal, crimper,
Yep.
and his little nail gun, and then we would fiber tape it and then hot mud it. And that was specifically for movement.
Yeah, we do that about we run that up about 6 feet up on the corners, and that helps out with people hitting the bullnose too, where it doesn't pop the sides as bad too.
Oh, right. True.
So,
That's smart.
so yeah, we
Okay.
do that on the custom. We don't do it on the track homes because there's just not money in it,
Right.
um,
Right.
but we do it on all the custom homes.
Okay. And then Pearl of Wisdom from the great Tom A. Hawks. If you could bestow on the drywall community a pearl of wisdom, something on a billboard that could inspire your drywall community, what would it be?
I think the biggest thing would be is research and learn. It's
Okay.
like, and I always tell everybody that works for me, it's like we can learn. Drywall should always be learning, and so we don't have to be. This is the way we're taught. This is the only way we're going to do it. It's like just make drywall funner. It's like by learning about your trade, learning how the system works, talking to your representatives, talking to engineers, just learning about your trade and making your product better actually makes drywall funner. And it's just because it's a constant learning experience. So that's what I have to say. Just don't think you just know everything. Just
Yeah.
constantly learn and do better.
Well, you can. I think it makes it more interesting. So drywall, I mean, for me, it was like this, it just got monotonous and kind of boring. I still loved working with the mud, and I was like, God, if I could just do colored mud and make the same money I'm making in Colorado, I'll be happy, whatever. I was in my 20s, naive. But it just opened up an entirely new world. I still have all that drywall knowledge that I had. That doesn't go anywhere, but I'm using it in like this fashion that just continues to expand and explore. I'm using bullnose tools for finishing bullnose, and smaller knives and plastic knives, and we're using pool trowels and different gauges of steel. I'm constantly testing different gauges of steel, and then all of a sudden you got this John Hine guy. He's doing like plaster finish with Fresco Harmony. I'm like, how are you doing that? What are you doing? And he's using like 2000 grit sander. I don't know if you knew. He's like buffing it just like normal plaster. And then I'm like, how do you even know to do that? It just fascinates me. So I love it. Research and learn so cool. So cool. And great to connect with you finally, Tom. We've known each other for a long time. I'm forever in your gratitude for introducing me to Bill Berry out of Grand Junction, Colorado. You are a direct result of having 4 locations in Colorado. So I'm super grateful to you for that. And great to finally catch up with you.
You too, and thank you for making a great product. I really do enjoy it. So
thank you. I really appreciate that. We will catch up soon. I'll follow up with you, but I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, man.
You too, Nick. Have a good one.
All right, take it easy, bud.
Bye bye.
A huge shout out to Tom for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today. Really great interviewee. And super cool getting to know you a little bit better. I appreciate your time, sir. Also, a big shout out to our friends at SurPro Stilts. If you're looking for an iconic drywall brand that stands the test of time, stand with SurPro. Elevate your safety, comfort, and performance with the leaders in stilts. Visit stilts.com and elevate your game. Also, be sure to check out episodes 99 and 102 with SurPro Stilts expert Brendan Hunter. And stay tuned for a special ice bath giveaway where we will be giving away a pair of stilts. It's going to be sweet, I promise. Thank you so much for joining us on the Drywall Podcast today. I sincerely Appreciate it. We are well over 20,000 downloads. We're in several countries, and it's all because of you guys continuing to listen that I keep wanting to do interviews. Whatever you do this weekend, whatever happens next week, please be safe, have an enjoyable time, and as always, remember, keep drywalling.